Let's bring in Mike Memoli, who is down in South Carolina already with the former vice president. I'm sure they had a feeling they weren't going to win a delegate tonight. That is sort of, at this point, I'm guessing they don't really care if it's fourth or fifth. But is there any regret about the hit they took at Buttigieg? That it was surprising to see him go negative on a fellow primary opponent like that?
Yeah, Chuck, all primary long, Biden had been on the receiving end of a lot of hits, and he kept saying this should not be a circular firing squad. Democrats need to train their attention on President Trump. Then we saw that series of attacks escalating with ultimately that rather snarky video. When the candidate himself stopped and backed off those attacks at the end of the New Hampshire campaign on Sunday and Monday, I made a note of that. The campaign pushed back and said, just because we're backing off the Buttigieg attack doesn't mean, we regret it. It was just a matter of they got the conversation in the bloodstream, and they felt that that was something that needed to happen. And Biden advisors are telling me now that, listen, we're likely to see now, as it appears, a crowded 1, 2, 3 leaderboard here. And that only underscores what has been their argument all along, which is that this is a long-haul campaign, that this campaign will reset as we head into South Carolina and Super Tuesday. And really, why would Biden get out of the race at this point when we're just getting into fertile territory, or at least what they believe still is fertile territory in terms of the especially African-American vote here? They're also making the argument, which is interesting tonight, about Amy Klobuchar. That's a name we haven't really heard them talking about in terms of how they view the field. And they're arguing especially that they don't see a path forward for her. She obviously has been sort of trying to build the pathway ahead of her as she goes, hasn't been raising a lot of money herself, only to see it coming in the late stages. And so the more, we talked about it last week, muddled, the top of the leaderboard, the more they still believe that there's a path for Joe Biden here.
Yeah. The problem is Joe Biden, Pete Buttigieg, and Amy Klobuchar are all fundraising from the same pond. And we know that donors follow winners. They're not necessarily loyal anyway. Mike Memoli in South Carolina, thank you very much.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.